The 2011 FIFA Women's World Cup was the sixth FIFA Women's World Cup competition, the World Championship for Women's National Association football teams. It was held from June 26 to July 17, 2011 in Germany, which won the right to host the event in October 2007. Japan won the final against the United States on a penalty shootout following a 2-2 draw after extra time and became the first Asian team to win a FIFA World Cup. The matches were played in 9 stadiums in 9 host cities around the country, with the final played at the Commerzbank Arena in Frankfurt. 16 teams were selected for participation via a worldwide qualification tournament that began in 2009. In the first round of the tournament finals, the teams competed in round-robin groups of 4 teams for points, with the top 2 teams in each group proceeding. These 8 teams advanced to the knockout stage, where 2 rounds of play decided which teams would participate in the final. Host selection: 6 nations, Australia, Canada, France, Germany, Peru and Switzerland, initially declared their interest in hosting the 2011 Women's World Cup. The German Football Association announced its hopes to host the tournament on January 26, 2006, following a pledge from German Chancellor Angela Merkel to fully support a potential bid. All 6 nations officially announced their interest by a March 1, 2007 deadline and acknowledged their intention of bidding by May 3, 2007 to FIFA. The final bidding dossiers had to be handed over before August 1, 2007. Switzerland withdrew on May 29, 2007, stating that Europe is heavily focused on France and Germany, and a third European bid appeared futile. On August 27, 2007, France also withdrew, reportedly in exchange for Germany's support for their bid to host the men's UEFA Euro 2016. Later Australia and Peru voluntarily dropped out of the race as well, leaving only Canada and Germany as the remaining candidates. On October 30, 2007, the FIFA Executive Committee voted to assign the tournament to Germany. Canada was eventually awarded the 2015 Women's World Cup 4 years later. Venues: after the German Football Association expressed its intention to bid for the Women's World Cup, 23 German cities applied to host World Cup games. 12 cities were chosen for the official bidding dossier handed over to FIFA in August 2007. On September 30, 2008, the DFB Executive Committee decided to use 9 stadiums for the tournament. The original candidates Essen, Magdeburg and Bielefeld were not chosen as World Cup venues. The official opening game was held between Germany and Canada at the Olympic Stadium in Berlin, the venue of the 2006 Men's World Cup final. It was the only match played in Berlin. However, it was not the first match of the Tournamenta Euro. It was preceded by a match at Rhein-Neckar Arena in Sincham pitting France and Nigeria. The final of the tournament took place at the Commerzbank Arena in Frankfurt, the venue of the 2005 Men's Confederations Cup final. Borussia Park in Mönchengladbach and Frankfurt's Commerzbank Arena hosted the semi-finals. The third-place playoff was held at Rhein-Neckar Arena. Since 2007, 5 of the stadiums were either newly built or remodeled. 6 stadiums will be home grounds for German First Bundesliga clubs in the upcoming 2011 Euro 12 season, while the other 3 will be home to Second Bundesliga clubs in the same season. Compared to the 2006 Men's World Cup, several smaller venues were chosen. 6 stadiums have a capacity of 20,000 to 30,000 seats. All cities will stage a total of 4 matches, with the exceptions of Berlin and Mönchengladbach. The latter will host 3 games. The total capacity of the 9 venues is roughly 330,000. Overall, approximately 1 million tickets will be available. Several of the stadiums are officially referred to simply as FIFA World Cup Stadium, because FIFA prohibits sponsorship of stadiums unless the stadium sponsors are also official tournament sponsors. With no standing room terraces allowed, all stadiums have a lower total capacity compared to German Bundesliga games. Capacity data is given according to FIFA. Teams and qualification. Number of participating teams. FIFA had considered the prospect of increasing the number of teams from 16 to 24, to reflect the growing global popularity of women's football and the Women's World Cup. However, on March 14, 2008, the FIFA Executive Committee decided to keep the number of participants at 16, concerned that more teams would dilute the quality of play. The idea of having 20 teams taking part, which had been discussed briefly, was ruled impossible to implement in terms of fixture planning and logistics. During the 2007 Women's World Cup, FIFA President Sepp Blatter had campaigned for the idea to increase the number of teams, although this proposal was not unquestioned. In particular, the 11-0 victory of Germany over Argentina in the opening game of the 2007 tournament had caused a debate over whether there were 24 national teams on a comparable level. Confederation allocation. In October 2008, the FIFA Executive Committee announced a change to the allocation of the qualifying berths for its continental confederations. Asia was granted 3 automatic berths instead of 2.5 for the finals. Euro unregistered trademark S allocation was reduced from 5 to 4.5. The North Central American and Caribbean Confederation retained their 2.5 qualifiers, Africa and South America 2 each, and Oceania 1. The 16th qualifying spot was determined through a playoff between the third-placed team in CONCACAF and the winner of repeakage playoffs in Europe. FIFA also ruled that each confederation has to ensure that at least one-third of its member associations enter their women's national teams for World Cup qualification, otherwise FIFA would re-examine the current slot allocation. In Africa and the Middle East, a considerable percentage of teams had withdrawn from World Cup qualification in the past. For European teams, the 2011 Women's World Cup will also be used as a qualification tournament for the 2012 Summer Olympics. Besides Team Great Britain, Europe will have 2 additional qualifiers for the Summer Olympics. Only the following stages will count in the determination of rank: world champion, runner-up, third place, fourth place, quarter-finals, group stage. In the case that no clear distinction can be made with respect to the 2 qualifiers, playoffs will determine the qualifying countries. With Germany losing their quarter-final, France, which had already reached the semi-finals, secured qualification to the Olympics. Sweden followed as UEFA's second team with its win against Australia. Qualified teams. Qualification for the tournament took place between April 2009 and November 2010. As the host nation, Germany were granted automatic qualification, while the remaining national teams qualified through their continental confederations. Most confederations used their continental championship tournaments: the AFC Women's Asian Cup, CAF Women's Championship, OFC Women's Championship, Sudamericano Femenino and CONCACAF Women's Gold Cup to determine qualification. The exception to this was UEFA, which used its own qualifying tournament. One qualification spot was determined by a playoff between a UEFA and CONCACAF team. A Euro qualified via a playoff against Italy. Colombia and Equatorial Guinea made their debuts in the FIFA Women's World Cup. Brazil, Germany, Japan, Nigeria, Norway, Sweden and the United States maintain their streak of qualifying for all 6 tournaments so far, while China Prairie failed to qualify for the first time ever. This is Mexico's first appearance since 1999 and France's first appearance since 2003. Organization, Local Organizing Committee. The tournament is supervised by the Women's World Cup 2011 Organizing Committee Germany. President of the Organizing Committee is former German international Steffi Jones. She started her work on January 1, 2008. German President Christian Wulff was named the patron of the tournament. The Organizing Committee is chaired by Jones and supervised by the Board of the German Football Federation. On January 25, 2009, Jones opened the committee offices and named her OC team. It is led by Managing Director Uli Wolter, who headed the Leipzig branch during the 2006 Men's World Cup. Aside from Wolter, 4 department heads were named. Heike Ulrich is responsible for the tournament organization, former German international Doris Fitchen heads the marketing department, Winfried Nahr leads the department sites and stadiums, and Jens Grittner, who served as the press officer for the 2006 organizing committee, heads the communications department. Intended to advertise the tournament primarily in Germany, the organizing committee named 4 national women unregistered trademark as World Cup ambassadors, former German internationals Britta Karlsson, Renate Linger, and Sandra Minnaert, as well as shooting Paralympics gold medalist Manuela Schmid. In October 2009, former U.S. international Mia Hamm was presented as the World Cup unregistered trademark as international ambassador. Each host city except for Berlin also named 2 city ambassadors. They include footballers Matthias Sammer, Karl-Heinz Riedel and Rainer Bonhoff, fencer Britta Heidemann or biathlete Magdalena Neuner. Emblem and mascot. The official World Cup emblem, called Arena Deutschland, was presented by Steffi Jones and Franz Beckenbauer in the break between the women's and the men's game of the German Cup final on April 19, 2008. It shows a stylized stadium with stripes in the national colors of Germany, black, red and gold, and a pictogram of the Women's World Cup trophy in the upper right corner. It was designed by the Stuttgart advertising agency WVP. The tournament mascot, Cat Carla Kick, was presented during the opening game of the 2010 Under-20 Women's World Cup on July 13, 2010. The mascot was developed by the Frankfurt agency GMR Marketing. According to Jones, the mascot represents important attributes of women's football: passion, fun and dynamics. Tickets: approximately 1 million tickets were available in total, with 900,000 on general sale. 350,000 tickets were offered at discount prices, mainly intended for families, clubs and schools, one of the key target groups of the organizing committee. As of June 22, 2011, 700,000 tickets have been sold. The World Cup tickets were offered in several sales phases. During the first sales period from October 29, 2009 to August 31, 2010, only so-called City Series tickets were offered. Each City Series includes tickets for all games of that particular host city. The prices ranged from $30 to $415. In the second sales period from February 17 to August 31, 2010, so-called 2011 tickets were sold to groups of at least 11 people, offered at a 20% discount and directed primarily at schools and clubs. Single tickets for all matches were first sold starting September 15, 2010. The prices of individual tickets range from $10 to $200. On March 18, 2011, 100 days before the opening game, the last sales phase started, with all remaining tickets being sold in the order in which orders are received. Unlike tickets at the 2006 Men's World Cup in Germany, the tickets for the Women's World Cup were not personalized. The same City Series ticket can be used by different people for different games. Budget and sponsors. The tournament's budget has been set at $51 million. The German Football Association plans to cover these costs in almost equal parts from ticket sales and from sponsors, primarily from 6 so-called national supporters. In order for the tournament to break even, the DFB has said about 80% of the tickets need to be sold, which would translate to an average attendance of 25,000. The DFB estimates to earn roughly $27 million through the general ticket sale. From 2008 to 2010, the 6 national supporters were presented: the telecommunications company Deutsche Telekom, the bank Commerzbank, the insurer Allianz, the retailer RU, the national mail company Deutsche Post and the national railway company Deutsche Bahn. Aside from Deutsche Bahn, the sponsors are identical with those of the 2010 U20 Women's World Cup. Media coverage. The television coverage of the tournament was unprecedented. For the first time, all matches were televised in high definition, with in-goal cameras and 2 Steadicams being used for all matches. For selected matches, the broadcast production comprised up to 18 cameras, including a Spydercam and a helicopter camera. In Germany, the public broadcasters ARD and ZDF showed all 32 tournament games live. Across Europe, all games were available on Eurosport in 34 countries and territories. ESPN and ESPN2 aired all matches live in the United States and ESPN3 offered live online simulcasts. the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation and Rogers Sportsnet in Canada, as well as U.S. Spanish-language network Univision, also broadcast matches in North America. In the United Kingdom, the games of the English national team were shown live by BBC Red Button and the BBC Sport website. The final was shown live on BBC Three. SBS held the broadcasting rights for Australia, while Al Jazeera broadcast matches in the Middle East and North Africa. The tournament was the first women's event to be the subject of a Panini sticker album, available only in Germany. The final match between Japan and the United States broke the record for most tweets per second on Twitter, Euro 7,196. Match officials. FIFA's referees committee selected 16 referees to officiate at the World Cup, 3 from the AFC, 1 from the CAF, 2 from CONMEBOL, 3 from CONCACAF, 1 from the OFC and 6 from UEFA. In addition, 32 assistant referees and 3 fourth officials were selected. The oldest referee is 42-year-old Swede Jenny Palmqvist, while the youngest referee is 29-year-old Vinor Volvuli of Fiji. Squads. As with the 2007 tournament, each team's squad for the 2011 Women's World Cup consists of 21 players, 2 less than Men's World Cup squads. Each participating national association had to confirm their final 21-player squad no later than 10 working days before the start of the tournament. Replacement of seriously injured players was permitted until 24 hours before the team in question's first World Cup game. Doping cases. On June 25, 2011, the A sample of Yainith Varakubden, goalkeeper of Colombia, tested positive to an as-yet unknown substance. She was provisionally suspended by the FIFA until the B sample result was known. On August 25, 2011, it was confirmed that she had received a 2-year ban. On July 7, 2011, FIFA announced the 2 players from North Korea, Song Jong-sun and Jong Pok-sim, were provisionally suspended prior to their Team Euro unregistered trademark S match against Colombia after failing doping tests during the tournament. On July 16, FIFA announced that 3 additional players from North Korea tested positive following target testing of the whole team. On August 25, 2011, the Korean team was fined $400,000, which is equal to the prize it received by finishing 13th in the 2011 tournament, and was excluded from participation at the 2015 FIFA Women's World Cup. Final draw. The organizing committee approved the procedure for the final draw on November 28, 2010. 4 teams: Euro Germany, Japan, United States, Brazil. Euro was seeded based on their FIFA Women's World Rankings and previous achievements. No 2 teams from the same confederation were to be drawn in the same group, with the exception of Group A, which would include 2 European teams. Pot 1, the groups of the 4 seeded teams were predetermined before the draw. Pot 2, Australia and Korea DPR could not be drawn against fellow AFC qualifier Japan in Group B. Similarly, Canada and Mexico could not be drawn against the other CONCACAF qualifier in Group C. Pot 3, to avoid 2 CONMEBOL teams being drawn into Group D. If Colombia were not the first team drawn from Pot 3, then the side drawn would be placed directly into Group D. Pot 4, Group A would be the group with 2 European teams. The group draw was staged in Frankfurt, Germany, on November 29, 2010 at the Kongresscentrum. The ceremony was presented by Organizing Committee President Steffi Jones, assisted by FIFA Head of Women's Competitions Tatjana Hani. The balls were drawn by former German international Garwan Korter-Nt Jonetsa and Slovak model and women's football ambassador Adriana Karembenu. Group stage. The first round, or group stage, sees the 16 teams divided into 4 groups of 4 teams. Each group is a round-robin of 6 games, where each team plays 1 match against each of the other teams in the same group. Teams are awarded 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw and none for a defeat. The teams finishing first and second in each group qualifies for the quarter-finals. The match schedule for the tournament was released on March 20, 2009, with the hosts placed in position A1. Unlike previous Women's World Cup final tournaments, there were no double headers, but matches on the same day were held in different venues. According to the organizing committee, this signals the increased quality and status of the women's finals. Tie-breaking criteria: teams are ranked on the following criteria: 1. Greater number of points in all group matches, 2. Goal difference in all group matches, 3. Greater number of goals scored in all group matches, 4. Greatest number of points in matches between teams, 5. Goal difference in matches between teams, 6. Greatest number of goals scored in matches between teams, 7. Fair play criteria based on red and yellow cards received, 8. Drawing of lots by the FIFA Organizing Committee, all times are in the CEST time zone. Group A, Group B, Group C, Group D. Knockout stage. The knockout stage comprises the 8 teams that advanced from the group stage of the tournament. There are 3 rounds of matches, with each round eliminating half of the teams entering that round. The successive rounds are the quarter-finals, semi-finals, and the final. There is also a play-off to decide 3rd and 4th place. For each game in the knockout stage, any draw at 90 minutes is followed by 30 minutes of extra time. If scores are still level, there is a penalty shootout to determine who progresses to the next round. Quarter-finals, semi-finals, 3rd place match, final. Awards: the following awards were handed out at the end of the tournament: Best Player, Top Goal Scorer, Other Awards, All-Star Team, Goal Scorers, 5 goals, Homer Saw, 4 goals, Marta, Abby Wamch, 3 goals, Lisa Dahlqvist, 2 goals, 1 goal, Own Goal, Diane. See also, FIFA Women's World Cup, FIFA Women's World Rankings, FIFA World Cup, Germany in 2011, references. External links: FIFA Women's World Cup Germany 2011, FIFA.com, Organizing Committee Germany.